Hello, welcome back to GOT. Today we're going to talk about the bar phones. They are so good today. It's time to move away from your foldable. In this video, we're going to talk about why you would want to go back to your bar phone and ditch the foldable. Let's go. So on this channel, I've been covering foldables for a long time now and mixing in bar phones every now and then. And I hear a lot of people tell me that the bar phone is the only way to go. And we're going to talk about the 10 reasons why I need to go back to the bar phone. Let's start with durability. Well, when you look at these phones, especially the iPhone, the modern iPhone today, it's unibody, one solid unit as far as durability. And of course, they put the strongest screens on these things today with the glass. And because of that, supposedly these could be dropped from a larger distance or multiple times and not have to worry about issues with these phones. And with these unibody builds, you also get water and dust resistance. You can see here how, because there are no other crevices that they can sneak into, dust and water ingress is no longer a concern on these phones. So that is one benefit. Where on a foldable, because there's so many areas on which it can be compromised by water and dirt and all these different hinges, not quite as durable as a bar phone. And because these things are made with titanium, and of course this now being a solid unibody aluminum, the strength, there is no flexibility in these phones whatsoever to worry about bending them. Whereas the foldable, for example, the Honor Magic V5, it's, well, maybe you can't bend it. It's not quite as strong or durable as these bar phones. As you can see this video, the foldable will just give up the ghost with a simple test. So durability is the number one reason you need to go to a bar phone. Number two is cameras. You cannot get better cameras than you do on the flagship bar phone. On these foldables, they do a lot of compromise, and you cannot get anywhere near the quality as you do on a bar phone. As you see here in these images, a typical foldable like the Honor Magic V5 cannot keep up with the iPhone in its quality of images, especially when you go to zoom in. You just kind of lose it on a foldable. So as you can see there, most manufacturers reserve their best cameras for their bar phones and do not put them in their foldables. So there's another great reason to go back to a bar phone if you want the best cameras available. Hey, I want to take a quick second to tell you how much I appreciate you for watching this video as we talk about moving back to a bar phone from a foldable. Is it time? If you get something out of this video, do me a favor and smash that like button down below. It really does help out the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on further content on all these devices. Let's get back to the video. Next, there's power and performance. You get a lot more performance and power out of a bar phone than you do a foldable, because this is where the manufacturers put their attention, is on their bar phones. They give them the best specs and the best capabilities, and they beat out the bar phones every time. So if you want the most power and proficiency, you have to go with a bar phone versus a foldable. Then there's battery life and charging simplicity. Because the foldable has to power two screens, it can drain a whole lot faster than a bar phone, where slab phones can devote the full battery power to one display, less switching or overheating because of the single display versus a foldable, with its dual screen powering and having to share the battery usage on two different screens. And then charging is so much more simpler because they have the wireless charging. They have magnetic backs these days where you can put a battery pack on the back to charge it up when you're on the go, versus a foldable, not quite the same. So there you go. If you want more battery life and simplicity of charging, a bar phone is the way to go. And then with bar phones today, there is the slimness of these things. They are getting thinner and thinner all the time. The pocketability is that much more superior than a foldable. Just check this overhead here. You can see these two phones are much thinner than a foldable. Well, maybe I'm overstating that a little bit, but that's the big claim anyway, is that foldables are so thick and the pocketability is much better with a bar phone. You just have to worry about sliding this in and out of your pocket, where this right here, because it is so much thicker or larger, it's hard to put it in your pocket and carry it. So you want to make sure you use a bar phone for slimness and pocketability. Let's move on to the next one. Next up is software support, maturity, and ecosystem. You just don't have the ecosystem you have with bar phones on the foldables. Even though they're the same manufacturer and they make the same software and they actually are compatible with the same devices from the manufacturer, the claim is still that they're not as good as a that doesn't quite fly. Well, the apps, yeah, the apps are made more compatible with a slab phone than they are a bar phone. So that is a big deal. You can't use as many apps on the slab phone as you do the bar phone, even though the outer screen is the same size and reacts or responds just like a slab phone does. And let's go on to the next one. Next is cost and value. Yes, the bar phones are a lot cheaper than what you will pay for a foldable. And because you get better camera out of these bar phones than you do the foldables for the most part, you get a better value for your money, unless you get something like the Honor Magic V5 or the Vivo X Fold 5 that do have a little bit more superior cameras. And then of course the Z Fold having its 200 megapixel camera that you don't find in any of these slab phones, but still the value is much better in a bar phone. So yes, you can pay $1,200–1,300 for a bar phone, but you get the highest specs available on a phone. Whereas when you buy a foldable, you're going to pay something like $1,800–2,000 for something like a Z Fold 7. Yes, you can buy these other phones like the Honor Magic V5 and the Vivo for around $1,200–1,300 for around the same price. But again, the value is still there because these are bar phones. Now, there's also the maturity and technology risk that you'd be taking with getting a foldable. You know, the bar phones have been around a lot longer. We're what, on the 17th generation of the iPhone, and now the 10th generation of the Pixel, where the Honor Magic V5, this is only the 5th, but since they skipped 4, it's only the 4th generation. Or you got the Z Fold 7, which is 7 generations of foldable. So yeah, and that might be a little bit closer, but you've got a lot more maturity and experience in technology with the bar phones. So the bar phone is way to go if you want a mature phone or device that you could depend on. And then there's a consistent display experience with the bar phone. You know exactly what you're going to get when you lay these down and watch them or use them. You have the nice 120 refresh rate on these things, whereas on a foldable, yes, you get the same refresh rate, and yes, you get the same outer screen, but then you have this inner screen that you got to open up and use if you want a larger display. And a lot of them have these creases inside them that you can see, and they get in the way, but maybe not really, and they're hard to find. But you know, you do have that, and you don't have to worry about creases or anything in a bar phone. So as far as display consistency, you have that in the bar phones. And then there's accessories and compatibility with the slab phones or bar phones. There's a lot more cases available than you get on these foldables. You know, when you go to use these things, you've got the foldable where it doesn't just have the single unibody and the one screen. It's a foldable, so it's more difficult to get cases. You know, you have to get things like this that cover it and cover the hinge. And yeah, they may have convenient things like stands built in and such, whereas on these slab phones you have things like armor cases you can put on that have MagSafe, so you can put them on devices like this MagSafe holder or even chargers that are out there. You just can't do that with a bar phone. Now, yes, I know some of you say, you know, you can find some cases that are armor cases like on this Z Fold 7 that you put on there, and it protects the hinge. And yes, it might be also MagSafe compatible, but still there's not as much out there as there is with the bar phones. And then one last bonus benefit that you have with these slab phones or bar phones is multitasking. I mean, check these out. You can open up multiple apps and just go back and forth to them just by simply sliding. It's just incredible. You know, it's just not the same with the foldable. Foldable, you have to open it up, you know, and use the larger screen if you want to do some multitasking, open up a couple apps at the same time, you know, and you can actually get another app that gets in the way there. And that's just so inconvenient. Well, there you have it. The slab phones or bar phones. Are they really truly better than a foldable? Should I go back to the bar phone? Have they gotten so good that I should give up on the foldable dream? Let me know down in the comments. Now it's time to hear from you. Is there anything that I missed? Is there any real standout reason these bar phones are superior to the foldable? If you haven't seen any of my videos on foldables, check out this one here on the Honor Magic V5. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I have so many videos on bar phones and foldables. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.